But first off, I have to show off this adorable shirt. So my mom had this made for me for my birthday. If you can't tell, it says, "A woman cannot survive on books alone. She also needs cats." And she had this made for my birthday, and it's like one of my favorite things ever. I realized I hadn't shown it off in a video yet, so I wanted to show you guys. Hello friends, my name is Shayla and today I am here to do a book review for you. The book we're going to talk about today is Memoirs of a Dragon Hunter by Katie McAllister. My friends over at Forever Romance Books were kind enough to send this copy on to me for review. As you guys know, whenever I review a Forever Romance book, all opinions and thoughts are my own, and I quite enjoy the fact that I have such a wonderful relationship with them, and I am so grateful to that. So this is actually book 4 in the Dragon Hunter series by Katie McAllister. After reading this one, I do definitely want to go back and revisit the other 3, or visit the other 3. I haven't read them yet, but when it comes to the world in this one, I did feel a little bit lost and a little bit muddied, just because this is a 4th book in a series. You can jump in on your own. The story pretty much stands on its own, but the world felt a little muddy. So I think if I go back, I'll get the context for the world a little bit better and enjoy this one even more. Let's get into what this is about. So in this book, we follow Veronica James, aka Ronnie, and she is OCD and a germaphobe to like the nth degree. At some points in this novel, it got to be a bit much for me to be in Ronnie's perspective about her OCD-ness and her germophobia. I know a lot of people really deal with this in real life, and to me, it felt like a really pretty realistic depiction of how somebody would handle that. Like I say, for me personally, it got to be a bit much as the story went on. Like, even, this is a smutty romance book, and even as they had their smutty moments, some of that would creep in, and that felt very realistic to me as the story went on. So, but it did make it a little bit harder to read at times. But I have to appreciate Katie McAllister's either experience or research on it, because I felt like it was a very realistic look at how something like that could go down for somebody with those struggles in life. Anyways, so through a set of circumstances, she ends up becoming a part dragon hunter because her sister, who is dying, passes on her powers to her. And there's some logistics of what that means within this world. I won't get into too much of that here, because essentially she's told to protect this woman and these 2 children from a man named Alexander. Through circumstances, Ronnie comes across Ian Ixander. They end up living in the same apartment building. He lives below her, and due to circumstances related to her becoming a dragon hunter, she ends up basically living in his apartment for a while she kind of tries to figure out her powers, tries to figure out a lot of other things. And I really buggered up that description, I'm sure. But when it comes down to it, this book was really, really fun. When it comes to paranormal romance, I look for the fun factor. I look for an interesting world, an interesting backstory for the characters, and I had all of that in this book. I thought the smutty parts were, for the most part, really entertaining, actually. Not just because the smut part was so good, but because her OCD and germophobia came into play, and that made them almost laughable in some ways. So I almost feel like it was kind of poking fun at the genre a little bit, and I have to appreciate the book for that. And this is a book that definitely doesn't take itself too seriously. The humor and the wit is pretty dry throughout, but I found it to be very, very, very enjoyable because of that. And the big overarching story, I can tell there's a lot more going on in this world, so I'm really excited to go back and read the other 3 so that I can fully understand all of the nuances of this novel. But I feel like all of the characters we meet, like Ronnie's best friend, is this gorgeous Latino woman, you know, married, has kids, but it's her neighbor, and so she looks out for her single, you know, quote-unquote crazy friend. I don't think people who have OCD or anything are crazy. Anyways, she's just there. She's the one to push Ronnie into situations Ronnie wouldn't normally get herself into. And I love the way she plays that role. someone in Ronnie's shoes would definitely need somebody to kind of nudge them in that direction. And so I love that she played that part. Ian also has kind of a little gal pal who looks like a teenage girl that he's just taking care of. There's a lot more to her, obviously. But anyhow, this is really a super, super enjoyable read. I really plan on going back and reading more. I'm settling on 4 stars with this particular one. I think it probably would have been a little bit higher had I understood the world a little bit better. Though with most paranormal romance books, you can kind of jump in wherever and just kind of read them out of order, my experience has been the overarching story is always wholly more enjoyable when you read them in order. And so I do think I'm going to go back and read the other 3 and then revisit this one to see if that changes my enjoyment level of it or not. So anyways, Memoirs of a Dragon Hunter, 4 stars by Katie McAllister. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to see more reviews, I will leave my reviews playlist linked for you so you guys can go and check that out. If you're new here, hi, welcome, I'm Shay. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you will subscribe and click the little bell icon so you know when it's time to come hang out with me. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.